Good morning everyone, I'm Phaedra, and in today's video I'm going to show you how to build really tall raised beds and to do it cheaply and to not have to fill the whole thing with soil. And the secret weapon is sticks. Let's get into it. This bed you can see here these are actually rims from a truck. So in Australia at least, when a new truck arrives, they come with these plastic sort of, I think they're the rims or hubcaps or something over the top of the big tyres, and they're plastic. And apparently that's the standard, and the truckies don't like it. They pull them off and they put the metal ones on, which look much nicer. So then there's kind of like this surplus of these plastic things. So I've got some, I've put them together. They're in my video called The To-Do List. If you haven't seen that yet, it's a really good one. But they're very deep, so it's going to cost a lot of money to fill that up with soil. So what I've done with this particular one, I'm going to show you two different ways. I have filled it with sticks and logs. So that's the very base layer. I've also done this exact same method in my little raised bed across the side of my hothouse that now has cosmos in it, but it did have my ranunculus in it. It's the same method. It works fine. As the sticks and the logs break down, you can then top it up with more soil, but it just means that first year or so you're not outlaying so much money for that entire space full of soil. So this will break down and I can just each year add more compost and manure and mulch or whatever I'm adding on top. So the first layer is the sticks, and then I've got soil. You want to try and find, it doesn't have to be amazing soil, but you do want to find soil that doesn't have weeds and the seeds from weeds in it. You want to try and keep this as weed free as possible. So then you're kind of filling in the area between the sticks, as much as you can. It needs to have a bit of matter between these sticks and the logs so it can help break it down. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a layer of sugarcane mulch on top. So you could use straw or whatever else you've got, but it's basically to sort of create a layer that the good soil is not going to fall through. With this bed, I'm planting sweet potatoes. So I really only need a section about this deep, maybe a foot and a half deep of nice soil to plant those in. And like I said, it'll kind of condense down over the season. I top it up ready for next season. So we'll finish this one off and then we'll move on to how I'm going to do the next one. Now this is about a foot from the top. We're going to start putting some good soil in on top and some compost. So the good soil I'm using is actually from another bed that I'm now moving. It's already got compost and manure mixed into it, so it's a really good mix. But if you don't have something on hand like that, you can create your own, or you can buy, some garden centres have really good mixes that you can use for vegetables and flowers and things like that. You could buy a load in, or you can go to your hardware store and buy bags, but just try and buy a really good one that's got, it's a good texture. Like you want as close to the brownie texture as you can get, like crumbled brownie. That's going to hold moisture really well, and it's got some nutrients in it. And then you can actually buy bags of manure as well. So you just want to make it a really nice mix of, the soil with manure, compost, whatever you can find that's going to nourish this soil. So this one's done. I've put the soil in, really good soil with manure and compost, and I've put some really good compost that we made on top, about maybe an inch or two thick. So this bed is ready, but now we're going to work on the potato bed, and I'm going to do that a little bit different because the potatoes, we're going to be filling the bed up more as they grow. And I'm not using sticks in this one because it's going to be so low. But you can see from this bed, about halfway up, it sticks. And then it'll have a thinner layer of sugarcane mulch, and then it's got the nice soil on top. So that is how you get a very deep bed filled up without having to fill it with soil, which is very expensive. So the sticks are the secret weapon. Now the secret weapon with the next bed, and this is another way you can do it, especially if you don't have access to sticks and logs, is to just use sugarcane mulch on the bottom. So we're going to do that now. And again, you want to hop in and get it to pack down as much as you can. You just step in it. This is stomping grapes, Australian style. It's not grapes, it's mulch. Am I Italian yet? Okay, this feels good. This is the quicker version to just use the mulch. I use sugarcane mulch, it's organic, and it ends up contributing to beautiful soil. So that's why I use it. It does break down very fast though. So my bed's gonna sink quicker, and it does cost a little bit more. I think the bags were around $15 and $20 a bag. So let's say I've spent $40 on that, whereas if you use sticks, it's free, if you can get sticks and logs. And then you can just use one of these on top. It just depends how much space you've got. Because I'm doing potatoes, I want this as the base. I'm now going to do 2 barrow loads of soil and then put the compost on top. There you have it, everyone. 2 beautiful raised beds, very deep ones. One I've filled to the top with the sticks, the sugarcane mulch, the soil and the compost. And this one has been the shorter one because I'm putting potatoes in it, so it doesn't need to be as tall just yet. It's got the sugarcane mulch on the bottom, maybe a foot thick, and then I stomped it down. And then it's got probably about 2 or 3 inches of the soil that's got the manure and the compost in it, and then it's just got pure compost on top, maybe about an inch and a half thick on top. Sometimes when these jobs seem so overwhelming, there's ways around it. It doesn't always have to be so big and expensive. I got these garden beds for free, so if you've got a truck yard nearby, you might be able to get some. And you may have to spend a little bit on the soil, but once it's in there, you've got it forever, and it's going to be beautiful. One thing I should have mentioned at the beginning is, underneath these beds, it's really important to try to stop grass and weeds growing up under them. So I've got cardboard down, but I've also got a very thick weed mat under each bed. So you need to find something in your area that you can put down underneath. You want the water to be able to drain through, but you don't want the grass to come up. So happy gardening, everyone. See you in the next video.